So to get this started, we're first going to need to do a little bit of talking. So I'm actually using these shorts that I've had for a couple years, and these are shorts that were made as shorts, not shorts that I cut into shorts. And then as you guys can see, I already have one side done. This video is actually going to be pretty basic. I'm just going to show you guys how to add it, and then just this little pattern that I did just for fun, just to basically test it out. And for this tutorial, I would actually advise to use shorts that were actually made as shorts and not cut into denim shorts, but just for this tutorial, once when I figure out how to do that, there will be another video for it. But the reason why I'm doing it this way is because, as you can see, there is some fraying at the bottom, but that's by design. If you take a look at it really closely, there is a seam right at the edge of the fraying so that the fraying doesn't continue to go up the shorts. So this is supposed to be here. So this is what we're going to use to keep our crochet lace in place. And as you guys can see, these shorts were actually designed so that they fold over so it can have a little bit of a cuff. And not everyone's shorts are going to work this way, but I actually just uncuffed them, and all that is you take whatever sewing tool this is. I'm not quite sure what it's called. If anyone knows, please leave a comment. But we're going to take this tool, or scissors if you guys don't have one of these guys. But basically just see where it's connected, and then I just went ahead and picked out the seam. The seam is this guy right here, so that it can lay flat. So as y'all can see, I have taken apart the cuff so now that it can fold down. And now I'm actually just going to go ahead and get started on the lace. And this is going to be used by a different category yarn and hook that we have ever used before on the channel. So here's a first. We're going to grab our category 0 yarn, make a slip knot, and then we're going to grab our 1mm hook. And I like to get started where the middle portion is, just so that in case if we do have a seam, that can be hidden on the inside. And then I'm using this super small hook for now. We will switch out for one that's a little bit bigger later on in the tutorial, but I'm using this one because, as you guys can see, this one has a, if this will focus, this one has a decently pointy end, and this will make it a lot easier to stick through the jean texture that we're about to go into. So we're going to take this guy, and we're first going to insert our hook into where we want to start this off. So we're first going to take a look at where that seam that I was telling you about that stops the fray from fraying even more is on these shorts. And as you can see, mine is right here. So I'm just going to go right underneath that. And then this seam will help our crochet lace stay in place. So we're just going to slide our hook on through. And then we're going to grab our yarn, insert that onto the hook. And then we're just going to pull that through. And then from here we are going over the jean fray. And if it gets in the way, just sorry, but deal with it, because we will have to cut it later so that you don't see these guys sticking out once when we wear it. So from here we're just going to yarn over and pull through the loop that's on our hook. And then there's one. And this first row is just going to be single crochet, but we're going to be doing it together because this can be a little rough. And unfortunately, I don't have a particular measurement on how far you guys need to insert your hook into. You're just going to have to eyeball it, but you're not going to want them to be too far separated. Otherwise, your next row of double crochet won't look full. It'll be a little bit sparse. So from here, we're just going to eyeball it. We're just going to insert our hook next to where the first bit is. From here, yarn over, pull through. And then we're still working around the crochet fray, yarn over, pull through 2. That is our very first single crochet. Let's do this a couple more times, and we're making sure that we're going over the seam that's keeping the fray in place. So remember, we're inserting our hook on the inside part of the fray. From here, we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And then this is actually it for this row. We're just going to keep going in with single crochet, making sure that it's not one too far apart, and making sure that we're going around that seam that we have as well. And then once when we get to the sides, which is this guy where we unconnected it so that it's not a cuff anymore, this is actually going to be kind of tough to go around because this is thicker than just the regular jean portion. But go ahead and just kind of figure it out. Your hook can go through. It's going to take a little bit, but it definitely can. But once we have a row of single crochet going around this entire thing, I'll meet you back. So we just made it all the way around with our first row of single crochet, and this is basically what it's looking like. Not like much. But once when we get here, we're going to connect it just like how we connect everything else with a slip stitch, yarn over, pull through both, And then from here, I actually decided that I'm going to do a different pattern than this side. I'm going to fix this side later on, but I'm going to do a different pattern. But we are going to start off the same way. So we're going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet, and the rest of this is exactly the same as doing a regular crochet pattern. So from here, we're just going to be putting 1 double crochet into every loop. So prepare for a double crochet, go into the next loop, and do a double crochet. Prepare, next loop, double crochet, and do that all the way around. And once we're done with this row, we're going to do another row of double crochet, but we're going to be switching out the hook, so I'll meet you back when we get there. So we made it all the way around with our first row of double crochet using our 1mm hook. And then from here, we're going to count up the first 3 loops that we did, because we first did a chain 3. We're going to count up 1, 2, 3. Insert our hook in through that loop, yarn over, pull through with a slip stitch. And then from here, we're going to grab our next hook. So I'm switching out my 1mm hook for a 1.75mm hook, and this is just so that it's easier to do the rest of the rows. If you guys don't want to go out and purchase 2 different hooks, that's totally fine, but if you're just going to purchase one, I would recommend only purchasing the 1mm hook first. So all I'm going to do is continue on doing a row of double crochet. So all this is chain up 3. That counts as a double crochet. Prepare for a double crochet, go into that first loop with a double crochet. Do this all the way around. So we just finished up doing our second row of double crochet, and now I'm going to do this side's pattern. It's going to differ from this side, but if you guys do want to know how to do this, we did the first 2 rows the same, which is the first row of double crochet but in a 1mm hook, the second double crochet in a 1.75mm hook, just like how we did on this side. And then over here, what we did was we chained up 5, we counted out 4 loops, did a single crochet into that 4th loop, and then we kept doing that all the way around. And then once we made it around, what we did was we did a double crochet into 1 loop, we did 9 double crochet into 1, single crochet into the next, 9 double crochet into 1, single crochet into next. And then we kept doing that all the way around. Once we made it to the end, we slip stitched and cut, but we are switching it up because I just thought of a much cuter pattern. But from here, what we're going to do is chain up 4. The first 3 count as a double crochet. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, skip 1 loop, put a double crochet into that second loop in the base, chain 1, prepare for a double crochet, skip 1 loop, double crochet into the loop after that. So we're going to be putting a double crochet into every other loop with a chain 1 in between. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around. So we've gotten all the way around with our row of net, and we have counted up 3 loops, slip stitch into that 3rd loop because this first bit that we did was a chain 4. And then now we're going to start working on some shells. And how we do that, we're just going to slip stitch into this next big gap that we are into. And then once when we're in this gap, all we're going to do is chain up 3 and then do a shell. So a shell is 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And this first one, we're just going to be putting 2 more double crochet into the same gap. We're only putting 2 because this chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so we already have 3 in total. We're going to chain up another 3 and put 3 more double crochet into the same gap that we're in. Once we have our first shell, we're going to chain up 1. We're going to skip the next gap. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, and we're going to go into the gap next to it. So we're working into every other gap. So here's a shell, skip a gap, 1 double crochet into the next gap, chain 1, prepare for a double crochet, skip the next gap, go into the gap after with another shell. So this is 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And then now we have 2 shells. And then from here, I'm just going to show you the deal one more time. We're just going to chain up 1, prepare for a double crochet, skip the next gap, go into the gap after with just 1 double crochet, chain 1, prepare for a double crochet, skip the next gap, go into the gap after with another shell. So 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and go ahead and do this all the way around. So we've just made our way around with our row of shell, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, shell, and we're going into every other gap that we had. And then if yours doesn't end perfectly on a double crochet chain 1, just like how the rest of it is, just do your pattern in order and then just connect with a slip stitch like how I did right here, because this is going to be on the inside and no one's going to be able to see this anyways, and the sizing is going to be the same no matter what. But once we have this, we're actually just going to be doing one more row of this. So all we're going to do is slip stitch until we get to the middle of this shell that we're in. Once we're here, we're going to do another shell into the middle of this shell that we have. So we're going to chain up 3, prepare for a double crochet, and then do a shell, which is 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Now once we have our shell on top of our other shell in the previous row, we're just going to continue on with the same pattern. So chain 1, prepare for a double crochet, insert your double crochet into the double crochet loop that we have into the previous row, so this loop right here, with a double crochet. So it's going to be the same exact thing, just on top of each other. From here, chain 1, prepare for a double crochet, and put a shell into the middle of the next shell. So 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And keep doing this all the way around. So I just finished up our 2 rows of shells. So in total, that we have is a row of single crochet that went into the shorts. The next row is a row of double crochet. Those first 2 rows are with a 1mm hook, and then row number 3 is double crochet with a 1.75mm hook, row of net, row of shell with double crochet, and then another row of shell with double crochet right on top. And that is the length that I want for my shorts. So when I get here, we're not going to cut and tie because I do want this to be a little bit more secure than usual. Not to say that cutting and tying isn't secure, but just for my peace of mind, just going into these first few double crochet loops that we have. And this is so that it doesn't come unraveled when we throw it in the wash. So from here, I'm just going to insert my hook into the next 3 loops with a single crochet. And then once we have that, we're going to chain up 1, pull, and then cut. So this is what I have because I tested it out doing a different pattern first. This will eventually turn into this, but let me know which pattern you guys like more in the comments because I'm really enjoying both, but we will switch this one out. But once when you have one side done, go ahead and do your other side. And once we're done doing both sides, something that some people may have to do, not everyone, but if you guys had shorts like me where there's a little bit of fraying, you guys may have a little bit of fraying sticking out of your work, so you're just going to want to go through and trim it, make sure that it's at a minimum. But once when you do that, go ahead and weave in all of your ends. And here is our finished product. This was a different project than what we normally do on the channel, but I'm really happy with the result. How do you guys feel about more upcycled videos in the future? Let me know in the comments. I think it can add more variety for you guys. If you like this piece or any other piece on the channel, give it a thumbs up. It's right beneath the video. It lets YouTube and I know you're enjoying the videos, and it goes a long way to help the channel grow and gain traction. But if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down and leave a comment letting me know why you didn't like it, or if you have any questions, requests, or if you just want to say hi. I usually reply pretty quick. If you love it, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's right beneath the video. It'll let you know when there's a new video uploaded to the channel, get you a bit more priority for requests, and it goes a long way to helping the channel grow so we can keep making great videos for you guys. If you're already subscribed, thank you, but please hit that notification bell to know when there's a new upload for you right away, and please share with your crafty friends. Every bit helps. Links to the yarn and the hooks will be in the description if you guys buy something using those links. It also goes towards helping out the channel. Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest links are down there too, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.